Dr. Bala, sir.
Good morning, sir. I'm here.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. So, shall we start, sir?
Yes, I'm ready, sir. We can start.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome today's research speaker, Dr. Bala Dandayudubani, for giving the topic web application development using Jakarta Server Faces. Sir, I will welcome you, sir. And also, I would like to welcome participants who are all registered for this event. I welcome you all. So now over to Dr. Bala, sir. Sir, you can start, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Rajesh. Let me share my screen.
Welcome, sir.
Good morning, one and all. Can you hear my voice?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning.
Yes,
We can
yes,
hear.
Doctor. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Also, can you see my screen? Is it visible?
Yes, yes, sir.
Sir.
Visible.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let me begin. So first of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Ms. Amina Al-Jabri, HOD IT department, for her wonderful support and encouragement for all these type of events. Second, I would like to thank Ms. Amna Al-Kabi, Head of IT section, Ms. Salama Al-Kalbani, Head of Networking section, and Mr. Dio, Head of Mathematics section, for their continuous support with regards to all the events. Third, I would like to thank SPD committee members for your good arrangement for this session. And I would like to welcome all of you for this session. Thank you very much for joining today. I hope this session will be useful to you for your future enhancement of your knowledge. So, what we are going to do today is, before going to that one, I do have a philosophy. So, as we are the continuous learners, I would like to remember always this. This is my own philosophy. What we already know, everything we already know is easy for us. The things that we don't know is difficult, but at first. This is my own philosophy. How many of you agree with this one? Can you put, if you agree, you please raise your hand. Yeah, we always something that we feel like unknown. Later on, after knowing it, we feel very much comfortable with that one. So I always remember this because we are continuously learning. So with this energy, I will try to make you in the best way. So all of us have already a bit knowledge about web application, but maybe in different platforms. You have a bit knowledge about programming, may have knowledge in Java programming. So if you have all these things already, this session may be giving added advantage. Okay, so what are the softwares that are used in this session? So we can use in two different variations. So presently we have GSF3 version that we can use it in the JDK 1.8 with NetBeans 8.2 version, or we can use this one with JDK 11 with the latest version of NetBeans 12.6. So either one we can use here. So I'm going to use the second one, Java 11 with the 12.6. There are many web servers available: Glassface, Pyra, Tomcat, Wildfly, JBoss, like that. We can use any one, but I'm going to use today Glassfish server. So the version that I'm going to use for Jakarta is Jakarta EE 9th version. This is the present version we have. And for database connectivity, I'm just taking the portable, simple, lightweight database, that is Java DB Derby. So these are the requirements basically we need. And where we are going to implement the code. So we can use different IDE. Basically, the topmost IDE are NetBeans, Eclipse, IntelliJ. So for the beginners, it is always advised to have NetBeans. So I'm going to use NetBeans. And if you are intermediate, we can use Eclipse. And you are enterprise user and advanced level, we can use IntelliJ. So these are the software requirements we need. So what is the main goal of this session? So this is planning to give a demonstration. I used to present as well as give a demonstration for Jakarta Faces. And in this, at the end of the session, you will be able to understand these points. So first and foremost thing is fundamentals of web application framework. So there are many frameworks present. And what about this Java Server Faces framework? We will focus on it. And you will be knowing about what is Jakarta EE, something goes behind about. So it's very much important to know more about what is Jakarta EE. And later we will know about Java, Jakarta Faces technology, followed with all the technological component, UI component, component shoots, CDA, converters, validator, all these points related to the Jakarta technologies and how to connect with the databases. So with this, I plan to add a title here with similar. So web application framework, all these points. So you will be knowing one by one all. And in order to make you benefit for this, I just prepared a GitHub project, which I can share to you. All the PowerPoint programs, everything I place here. I will also share it in the chat box so that it will be useful to you. I'll put it in the chat box. Later you can use for your, you can download the programs and as well as the PowerPoint. I'll just make it here. Okay, so every resource is already available, so we can get use of this. So I can now start my topic one by one. So we will first of all start with web application frameworks. So all of us know about this one. What is this framework? Okay, there are many frameworks are available, and where we are going to focus today, I will just come to the clarity here. So the web application framework is a framework. Okay, it's a software framework. Everyone know. So it's mainly for supporting development for web applications. So to develop web applications, we need a framework. Okay, this include in creation of web services as well as web resources. So any framework will support for creating a web pages, web services, and web resources. So every framework again have a architecture inside. Okay, there are many frameworks, software frameworks available to develop web applications, and every framework has their own architecture inside. Okay, now what is the framework that we are going to see today? Okay, let's look into the Java own platform. Okay, Java own framework. So Java own framework is Java Server Faces. It was okay. So previously up to 2.3, up to 2.3 version, it was owned by Java. Okay, so it was initially called J2EE, Java 2 Enterprise Edition. So after some moment, recently after 2018, this Java Server Faces have given to Eclipse. So now it is under the control of Eclipse. The name is changed to Jakarta Faces. Okay, it is a new one. So here afterwards, Enterprise Edition will not be under the control of Oracle Corporation. So the thing is transferred, everything is transferred to Eclipse. So Java own platform with Java Standard Edition SE only going to be improved and developed by Oracle Corporation. And Java Enterprise Edition fully transferred to Eclipse after 2008. Now Eclipse is the foundation where they have work group to go further versions. Okay. So at presently we are having Jakarta Server Faces. Shortly we can call it as Jakarta Faces. So both are same. Jakarta Faces or Jakarta Server Faces are the same. Initially they used to say Jakarta Server Faces because it was previously Java Server Faces. So they used to call Jakarta Server Faces. Later on at present they simply used to call Jakarta Faces. Okay. These two are almost Java technology, Java own. We can say Java own or Oracle own. Now it is given to Eclipse. You understood about. And in similar to this, Java based frameworks are all there. It is called Spring MVC, Structs, String MVC by Spring IO, Structs by Apache. So these are all other platform related to Java. So these frameworks are allowing us to create and develop our web applications. Not only this, there are so many again. There are many. If you are taking Microsoft, you will have .NET. If you take PHP, you have Cake PHP, like that. So every platform have their own framework. Okay? That frameworks are helping us to create and develop our web application, pages, services, and resources. I hope you understand about this. So now coming to the architecture, I said every framework has their own architecture. So if you are going to take, for example, Jakarta Server Faces or Jakarta Faces, it has its own architecture. What is the architecture behind mean? It is a model view controller, MVC architecture we say, model view controller. So this architecture is going to have model, view, and controller are separated. So that's why they used to say, what is a model, view, controller? It's separated. We'll discuss about it. Okay. So this is an architecture plan you know about. So what is the main consideration behind? So it is going to modularize the code. So modularizing means we are going to separate something, the code, design, and other things. We are going to keep them separated so that we can go with the easy and faster development. So it's also supporting for promoting code reusages, and it's also allowing us to create multiple interfaces that you want to apply. So this architecture mainly fall on two perspectives: push based, pull based. The push based is called as action based. So it is also called as an action based. The pull based also called component based. So the push, pull are the two different techniques available in the MVC. Okay, what is the push? We can understand that we are pushing something. So by means the same what we are having in the real life. So they are going to push the data, pull the data. That's the meaning. Okay. So in the same meaning, like, so they are going to push the data, pull the data over the control. So whatever the data that we have in the app, those going to work in these aspects. So these aspects you can see here: framework action to process. So something we are going to process, and then we are going to push the data. And this data pushed is going to render on the result page. The other side, framework starts with the view layer. View layer is already present. So first of all, view is there. Later, we are going to pull the results to the view. So push and pull are two different perspectives of MVC. And now coming back to the previous, the Java own platform with Eclipse, Jakarta Faces are previous, are the older version Java Server Faces. Both are based on the pull based. So that means component oriented architecture, we can say. So in the other side, we can also say component oriented architecture. So Java based is action based or push based. Okay. So the MVC stacks all based on the first category, push based, or we can say action based. So Java based working on the action based, and Jakarta Faces or the older version Java Server Faces working based on the component architecture. So we can understand that Jakarta Faces is a web architecture coming under the model view controller with the component based, that means pull based architecture. So this is what Jakarta Faces. What is the architecture? We have MVC, model view controller. So based on this, what we are going to have is, it is component oriented architecture. So server side components and all going to be created and used in the applications. So components and all going to be incorporated, server side components here. So we can say component oriented architecture. So in this, what is the model view controller? Already we knew something about. So nothing but it is going to separate the logic in the sense our code, the program where we are going to do some logic. If the data is like this, what to do? Data is like that, what to do? If conditions, some looping, something that we had logic based. And the presentations, the view, the user interface. So the user interface and the design part, I mean the presentation, what is appearing on the web page, and the logic, what is written on the code, are separated. That is a model view controller. So now, what is a model? So model is going to connect the view and the controller. So it is going to connect these two, nothing. Model is going to connect the view and as well as the controller. Now, what is the view? Nothing but it is a user interface design. The page that is appearing to us, the web design, the page that we design is the view. That is in front of us, it is appearing. We know only the view. And when we click and do something over the page, some logic is behind. So that is written in the controller. The view and controller connected in the model. Now it's very clear, model view controller is going to separate the logic from the presentation. Okay. Now it's our second topic, introduction to Jakarta EE. So what we previously saw is the framework, web application framework. So in that we had a different framework with MVC architecture. In that we have push and pull. Pull based is component oriented architecture. So Jakarta EE with Jakarta Faces coming in the pull based architecture or component based architecture. So second topic is introduction to Jakarta EE. So EE is enterprise edition, we know. It's because it's from the Java EE, Java 2 EE, Java 2 enterprise edition. From that it is come, it is transferred already, you know about. So what is this mainly for? So the main aim why it is given to Eclipse Foundation is something they want to take based on the present situations. So Jakarta EE focus for cloud native applications, mainly for cloud native applications, because everything is moved to the cloud today. So that is a foundation they want to give here. And it is lightweight and traditional, it supports for traditional enterprise applications. So whatever we did already, we know something already, we had something already. Everything is supported, we can use those. And we can take them to cloud applications. So that's the main reason behind. Okay. So Java EE technology already contributed and owned by Oracle Corporation, you know, and now this is being transferred to EE platform with Jakarta. So no more Java EE. Java EE stopped working. Oracle only focus on standard edition. Okay, presently you know the version, we will come to that point just for recalling. So Jakarta EE is the platform. Here afterwards we'll go with the different versions. Presently we have 9th version. We will go to that part. So Eclipse Foundation is the one working on all these cloud native Java application. So it's also a open innovation project, open source project. We can also see everything. So what is inside in the cloud native? So cloud native, nothing but we are going to build the application in the cloud. Cloud native meaning we are going to create an application that is going to run on the cloud. The cloud native mainly support for microservices project that is going to be used in the cloud. So microservice project majorly focused. And what is the cloud native computing? Nothing but it is one of the approach in the software development. So we know we are in the more than 2 decades we are working on software developments. We know how to develop it. We have seen several approaches, developments. So cloud native computing is also one of the software development approach. So which is going to utilize the cloud computing. It is going to utilize, mainly focus to utilize the cloud computing, and mainly to build for the scalable applications, to modernize in the dynamic environments, can put it in the public cloud, private cloud, or in hybrid clouds. And mainly what is the microservices? We should have knowledge about this one. So what we so far we are doing is monolithic application. Monolithic application in the sense from the front end to the back end. We had designed the front end, business logic, data interfaces, backend, everything we do one in all. So all the branches or modulars of this application all together, and we made it in one as enterprise application, or we can say monolithic application or architecture. Now, this architecture is a bit hard, so they're moving to microservices based architecture. So your user interface will be connecting with several microservices. We'll have microservices with our application. So all these going to have different databases. So if you are going to be a part of one microservice, you will have your own functionality here. The other people will be working on the other functionality. So like that, the one project is divided into many categories as microservices. So this is very much useful for deploying the project in an easy way, and can be easily transferred to the cloud. Okay, let's come to the cloud native microservices. So what is the plan behind it? So many companies are working towards the cloud native microservices today. This is very clear. Why they are going for it? In order to save the costs. What is the saving cost? How they are going to save the costs? So because the many cloud infrastructures are there, they can go and use it. And of course, they are going to save their costs. And they can make it in the cloud resource in the best way. So whatever the cloud resource they have, they can utilize them in a proper way. So when they are going to run it in the cloud, the microservice is going to run in the cloud. Of course, the main purpose is they cut costs. So whenever they are going to run the services, only that time the cost is going to be taken. If this system is not working or the service microservice is not working, there is no costs. So we can say pay as you go model. All the cloud-based technologies are working under the pay as you go model. So whenever you need extra infrastructure, we can scale up, or you don't need, you can also scale down, increase or decrease your demands or infrastructures based on the requirements. So that's depending on the load. So companies are sometime extended, sometime due to some reason, some companies are closing, no problem. So it's based on the usage of the cloud. So for any existing monolithic applications, already there were many applications developed. So no issue. They can also break them their system into many microservice systems. If suppose anyone newly plan to write an application, they have a choice of creating a greenfield of cloud computing microservices, cloud native services. So already available applications can break their monolithic application into several microservices. If someone going to create a new application, of course, they can have a choice to create a new microservice applications. So let's have a glance of transition period what taken from Java EE and Java Jakarta EE. Just we can have a glance. As we know that Java when it was started in 1999 and presently what is the version we have, everything we know. So it was started in 1996 with JDK 1.0 and presently we have Java AC with 17 version which was released in the year last year September. So presently it is held by Oracle Corporation. SE 17 SE platform only, standard edition only under the control of Oracle Corporation. Just this is one side. Another side, when you look into the enterprise edition, so it was side by side we are going started in the 1999 and until 2017 Java Enterprise Edition, which was released in 2017 August. Until that moment, it was held by Oracle Corporation. Okay, and after 2018, the Java EE given to Jakarta. I mean the Eclipse, they renamed to Jakarta EE. So present version of Java EE is Jakarta EE. So it is controlled by Eclipse Foundation. Other side, this also is very old history. So on 2010, in previous to Sun Microsystems, we are having this Java platform, and it was acquired by Oracle. We also knew about this informations. Okay, let's come to this point. What we have here in the code. So they majorly focus on Maven coordinates. So that's their main project. We can also go and develop with and or other projects. So all the libraries what they had previously, they are trying to change the packages towards to the Jakarta. Previous was Java X based library. Now they are trying to replace with Jakarta and further development. So this is one side. So we should remember which package that we are going to use. So these libraries are supported with the different platforms, Java JDK 8 and JDK 11 also. So as I already told, we can either use JDK 8 or JDK 11 and we can also take the enterprise edition. So it's based on the compatibility that you have. Now we can look into the cloud native technologies. Okay. So cloud native technology, already I said cloud native with microservices. So microservices are going to have a smaller modular program in order to develop the monolithic application. So that microservice application in Jakarta is called micro profile. So only naming issue. So micro profile in a sense, nothing but a microservices. So it's nothing but collection of specification designed to help the developer to develop enterprise cloud native microservice applications. So Eclipse having micro profile, their own micro profile, and it is also incorporated this microservice or micro profile in the what you call enterprise edition and Spring, similar technologies available with the Spring IO is called microservices. Okay, let's focus here in the Eclipse microservices. So Eclipse again having two versions, one for Jakarta people and another one for non-Jakarta. So non-Jakarta, they have their separate library called microprofile IO. So microprofile separately their own. And the Java EE transferred from Oracle Corporation is also under the development of Eclipse software is called Jakarta EE. So we can find it from the Jakarta EE. This is a future development of enterprise edition. And also when you are making a program, we can also mix these two because more or less they are similar. Both are going to focus the microservices or the micro profile. So this helps to develop any enterprise applications. So what their idea is, they are going to give us our application build development for pre-cloud or pre-container era. So before we go and take our application to the cloud, how do we going to create an application in the local system, and later that can be transferred to the cloud. So that's what used to say pre-cloud or pre-container era, to take more efficient for microservices or micro-profile. So where they are going to add? So there are Dockers. There are Dockers, Kubernetes, Listio. So these are the container-based technologies where our code or the services can deploy in their platform. So without changing anything, importantly, without changing any service code. Service code in a sense, our programs, our developments, so our designs. So what design and development that we made can be deployed in any Docker or Kubernetes or in a Listio. So they are all the containers. Okay, the Dockers, Kubernetes, Listio are the containers. Okay, having different features inside. Okay, so all of them are open source projects, and they are helping us to port your applications, to deploy your applications. So in order to go with them, especially the pre-cloud platform or the container is provided to you to set up and make your application. So the containers are available. Especially we can differentiate. The Listio is mainly focused to monitor your application. Especially the Listio focused for monitoring application. How many people are accessing? What is the traffic? Those related to these people or this container is focusing. Other two, especially you can deploy your application that will take care of your application to cloud. Now we will start our web application. Now think of web application. I'm going to create a web application. So it's old days we had a static, then we moved to dynamic. All this history we know already. All these things fall on the dynamic application is fall on two perspectives. One is presentation oriented. The other side is service oriented. So these two perspectives are there. Presentation oriented in a sense, we are going to show something to the user using HTML, XHTML or XML. Dynamic pages are there that is going to give some request response base. So in this perspective, we are having Jakarta application with Java Server Faces or Jakarta Faces technology. And also we can use Jakarta Server technology. Still, this is very old technology, still it is in the race. So we are going to prepare application for presentation. That means whatever the application we are having with backend, from the backend we are reading the data and we are showing them, we are collecting the data from the user and we are storing them. All these related are presentation oriented. The other category is service oriented. So it is mainly for endpoint or client web services, endpoint services, or we can say edge in the IoT, edge computing. It's also uses the presentation because something that in the edge or the client is going to present something. We also need the previous one, the presentation can also be used to merge here. And especially what is the technology that is used here is web services and RESTful web services. There are two different service oriented services are there. Web services that is called Jakarta XML services, and previously it was Java XML web services, and we have another one is called RESTful web services. Now it is called Jakarta REST. So if you are using this, you can able to prepare services. You are using Java Faces or Jakarta Faces or Jakarta Servlets. That is, you are going to focus on the presentation oriented. So at present we are having Jakarta Enterprise Edition with the 9, which was released in the year 2020 December. So almost a very recent one and a half year before started. So what was there? So whatever that we already had it in Java Enterprise Edition, all are given to Jakarta, So they with improved versions. So our focus is with server faces. So presently we are having 3.0. So side by side, there are many technology. I have put all those few things, important things here. And the next platform is Jakarta EE Enterprise Edition Platform 10. They are planning to release in 2022 March. And our platform with the web development, Jakarta Server Faces, expecting with 4.0. So I hope this foundation idea makes you fruitful and can enter into the Java server, Jakarta Faces technology. So our topic here is Jakarta Faces. Let me have a glance. If you have any questions with regards to the technology we discussed, you can also raise your questions. If you have any questions regarding the first two topics, kindly raise. We can also have discussions. Okay, yeah. Now question it seems, and then I will continue. We will continue at the end of the session. So it's our third topic. So almost we are entered into the Jakarta Faces technology. So as we know that already, so it's pull based, or we can say component oriented. Okay, so we can use to say server side component framework. So what is the server side component framework? We already know about it. Is nothing but pull based MVC architecture is called web application framework. Okay, how are we going to use this technology? Okay, so this technology is having a application programming interfaces API as like other platforms. So these APIs are mainly to represent all the components, nothing but our controls, our user input control, whatever the control that we are having, and mainly used to manage the state of the components. A state of component mean if the data is stored in the component, it will present the state is having empty or having a data. So all this managed. Handling events, server side validations, data conversions, page navigations, internationalization, accessibility, all these related are already available in the API, application programming interface of Faces technology. And they also provide a tag library as like we are having HTML in which we are having several tags. Okay, like that here tags provided. So either you can use API to develop your application, or you can use tag libraries. So tag libraries are very much comfortable and flexible to use and create a web page. So we are going to add our component through the tag libraries to create pages, and that is going to connect with the server side objects. Okay, what is Jakarta Faces application now? Okay, so web page is going to have a components. So components are nothing but our control, input controls, so text boxes, label, buttons, all these things. They are all going to lay on the applications. So they are all provided with set of tags. Nothing to add. Mean tags are nothing but the components. Okay, as like HTML. As like HTML, here they are provided components with the tags. So we will write a tags so the application can be ready. And the old days we had a managed bin, and presently we have CDI. We have a CDI. I'm sorry, I forgot to change this one. We have a CDI here. Okay, old one. So CDI conducts dependency injections. So previous old version was managed bean, that is deprecated. Okay, so this bean is allowing us to interact or write logics. Okay, we have a view and a logics controller. So controller can be written here in the bean. Okay, previously it was called managed bean. Presently it is CDI. Okay, what does a CDI mean? It is nothing but a POJO, plain old Java object, which will have a setters and getters for our variable. In order to mutate your value, access your values, we have a POJO, plain old Java objects. So setters and getters are there. So they are all going to be written in these beans. But this bean, the latest bean is called CDI, context dependency injection. Okay, so that is introduced in the version 3, the present version. Previously, we had a managed bean. Okay, so what is the special in CDI? We will discuss. Okay, and also this bean is going to have a properties function related to the components. Any control that you are going to connect with your components, all these things can be made. So other than this, we have a web development descriptor, nothing but web XML. It is a connector, nothing but a model. So we can say the component or the layout. This is called a view. The CDI, nothing but a controller. The web XML is nothing but a connector. So MVC, we can find it here. And optionally, we have Faces XML file, which can create a navigation rules. If you want to have some rules over there, we can put it. And we can also create our custom components, custom validators, converters, listeners, whatever that you are planning to create your own. Everything can be created, is allowed. All your custom objects and tags you want to create from the by using the previous one, you can create our innovative ideas. So what is the benefit mainly? So the benefit is the separation behaviors. So presentation and the logic, not login, okay. The logic and the presentation is separated, okay. So logic and presentation is separated. So it is main help, because the developer can split their work. Some of them can focus on the design part. Some of them can focus on the what do you call coding part. That's one benefit. Another side, the state of the object in server, any component that already I said, the stateful of any object, the control have some data. That data in which state it was maintained, that is clearly and easily maintained by CDI here in the Jakarta EE 9. And it is going to leverage your web components without limiting. Though limitation, you can add any other scriptings. You can add a JavaScript, any other what you call HTML based technologies, cascading style sheets. Everything can be merged here in an easy way. So you can enhance our application in a better as possible. Okay. So what is the Jakarta EE server container? What it is going to do? So client machine, we are on the client side, we are going to access our application, and the Jakarta server side machine is there. So whenever we browse, we used to browse through the browser, we know it, and it is going to connect with the application container, client application container. This will talk to the enterprise bean, nothing but CDI. So this bean have a relation systematically with the servlets behind. So this is nothing but web container. Okay, the web container and the EJP container, the bean where we are having our CDI bean, have closely coupled. So whenever it is needed, they are connected. Okay, so our application container is talking to the bean, and the bean component or the CDI will communicate with the database. Okay, so this is the model. It's like the previous, but the concept modified here is from managed bean now to the CDI. Okay, Jakarta Faces the life cycle. So we have two perspectives. One is when you are beginning your application, okay, your life cycle starts, and when you are going to complete end, when it is going to complete. So two perspectives are there. So beginning stage, end stage. So beginning stage in a sense when you are making a request from the client side. So we have a client, we are browsing, started, we clicked something. So the initialization of your request is begin. That is the starting of your life cycle. End, that means the server responses to the page. That means when your request is going to the server and the response come back to the client. So come back to the client is ending your life cycle. So initiated from the client, end up with the server response. So based on this, two main phases of life cycle is there. Execute phase, nothing but the beginning page, beginning of your request. Rendering phase, nothing but from the server, the data is rendered, data or the component rendered on your client. So two phases are there. So these two phases will complete the life cycle. So in order to design your web pages, as we already discussed, tag libraries are there is one side, the other side APIs are there. So the tag libraries are very much easier to design the pages. Okay, so all these tag libraries are given in the name of the technology name is called Facelets. So Facelet is the declaration language. We are declaring as like HTML. Okay, it's like a HTML design. How we are working with. That's why it's very much easier. As like HTML, we are also going to have a technology in Jakarta. Previously, also it was the same name with Facelets. Okay, so it is called Jakarta Faces view. That is a view. User can view your data. So these views are as like HTML, but in the name of XHTML. So X, extensible HTML. So nothing but inside we have a tags. In the HTML we have HTML tags. So in the XHTML, that means in the facelets we used to say facelet tags. So this is used to create our application pages. And whenever you want to connect your controller, the logics to the facelets, we have a support from the expression language called EL. So through the EL, we can able to connect our logics, that means our code, with our design. Okay. So what is an advantage of these facelets? So compilation time usually faster and it's high performance in rendering. For example, when you just save your application, immediately it deployed. So you can see that in the IDE itself. It validates the expression language at the compile time itself. Just to save it, it will compile as well as it will deploy. It supports reusability over the templating. So templatings are there, composite components are there. So you can prepare the templates and that template can be used for other purposes. Other people can also come to use it. So provide a extensibility of any component. So some components already there, you want to modify them, you want to add them in a different way. Yes, of course, we can make it. So customization is there for any controls or components. Customization fully given. So to use this Jakarta Faces, there are library available in the tags. They are all called what do you call HTML tag library. So this is going to have some set of tags. It starts with the H colon. All the tags H body, H colon, H output, H input. So these are all called HTML tag library. Another set of library is called Faces code tag library. So this code tag library mainly used for validation purposes, conversion purposes, and it is going to support for your application. It starts with F prefix, F colon. We start with F, F converter, convert number, F attribute. So all starts with the F. So H start means HTML design base. So that means we can design all our components. All input output components are there. To validate the control components, we can have F that is core tag library. If you want to prepare your component, it's called a composite tags. It's come up with the CC. So it is going to provide the interfaces. So composite component, that means we can prepare our own controls or the components. We can make the reuse, we can reuse the already available component and we can bring them into a new form. And the other side is UI, that is Facelet tag library. It is for templating purposes. So templating in a sense, we have header, footer, the model of your screen, how you are going to make them template. Okay, adding all the components, inserting the components with some templates, as like HTML frame. Okay, so we can work with the UI that is for templates. So these are the classification of tag libraries. So I hope this foundation knowledge almost we came with the what do you call the synchronous or serial in the level. So now we go to the fourth one. Okay. So how we are going to design it? So now it's with the discussed points, our mind is ready. How we are going to design? Now we are ready to design the applications. Okay. So design Java Jakarta Faces with Facelets. So Facelets are a tag library, so we are going to use them. Okay. So when you are going to have a Facelets, as you know that already, it is going to have a state and behavior of all the components. So whatever the state you left over, the state of the components are kept as it is. Okay. So we have different model in that for the UI. Okay. It is included in the life cycle of Facelets. Okay. So rendering model is there, conversion model is there, validation model is there, event handling model is there. All these are all included in the state and behavior of any component. Okay. Now I want to start design. First and foremost thing is, it is actually a view. It is a presentation. It is the user view. So how you are going to prepare a view? That's the first thing. So we have a H tag with the view. Sorry, excuse me. F tag with the view. Okay. So F view is a one which creates the view for the user. So all the controls, forms, everything you are going to keep it inside. Okay. All the components, UI components are the childs of this view. Okay. So it is actually a parent. View is a parent. All other tags are the facelets. You are going to prepare to design. Everything will be the child. Okay. So once you want a form, so you should start with a view. Then we can start with the H form, and all your elements or the components or the controls, we can place it inside to collect any inputs, to process any data. All these things we can put it inside. Okay. So user submitting data will be inside here in the form. Form is actually placed in the view. So it's a view. In the model view controller, the view is JSF view or Jakarta view. Now we will focus on the important components, UI components. Okay, what are the UI components that we have? Okay, so let's focus on input side. Input side, we have input text. It's like as like other platforms. So similar. So nothing new here. Okay, but they prepared with the different syntaxes. That's all. With some features. Features that's important. Okay. So input text. So you know that all HTML based. H mean HTML tag library. H mean HTML tag library. All helping you to create a component, UI component. So to get the single line input, we can use text box. To get the multi-line input, we can use text area. To get the password like, sorry, excuse me, this is for hidden. This will not be shown in the browser. Okay. So if you want to send anything hiddenly through the page, we can use input hidden. Okay. So input carried inside the page itself, no one knows, hidden input. This is for password input when you are going to get the password field. Okay. To use for password field, we have secret. Whenever you want to connect any file to upload, okay, for uploading any file, we have input file. So these are all the important things that we are having in the input components. Let's see how a tag look like. For example, I took input text here. So it's actually from HTML tag library. Every tag will have its own ID and different attributes are there. Okay, different attributes. So attribute names are in the left side, and it is assigned with the equal operator, and on the right side we have our value. Okay, so attribute with the values are there. Okay, many tags are there. That made a simplification for us. That's a advantage of the facelets. Okay, in old programming we had a lot of coding. All the codings are reduced here. Coding is reduced, so we can go in a faster way. So for example, you see here ID is there, value. How you are going to connect your value with the logic? This is called EL, expression language. So as I said, our control logic is the controller, the bean. So from the bean, how a design is connected is the expression language or the EL is helpful for connecting us. So it should be started with the hash, and within the curly bracket here, inside we should call our class object dot your method or attribute. This can be your attribute or the variable. You can also call your method. This is your object. And the syntax is hash. Within the curly bracket, we are going to make calling the logics. And for label, for example, max length, size, alt, read only, required field. So like that, whatever that we had it in the HTML, almost in HTML, all features are incorporated here. And if you want, you can also include style. Style is also there. All style properties are also an attribute here. Or if you want to write your own style that you are expected to communicate here, yes, you can write a style as from the CSS. For example, if required field is true, that means it is a mandatory input. So we can also add the messages if a user is not giving an input. Required message, please enter your name. If you are having some validation point of view, phone number is this number, name is only with the letters, something like that, some validation rules is. If you add that, immediately the message will be given to them. So it is minimize the code. So minimizing code is always helpful for us to develop a what you call rapid application developments. You see here style, I put color red, and also you can access through the access keys through any component. You can also make access keys, many attributes. I brought for only few here. Okay, so you can write through the styles inline, or you can also write what you call embedded, or you can also put external. All possibilities are there within the attribute itself. Some of the style properties are there. Okay, so you will be very much comfortable in designing the applications. Now let's focus on some point of output components. So we have label, output text, style, messages, and graphics. So these are few output components, significant component I brought here. So for labeling purposes, when you are going to get input, enter your name, something label you want to give. So it is associated with your input field. That's important here. So the output label always associate with the input. This label is for which input. The association field is there also there. There is a for attribute here. So for this input, we can say like that. So text input for line of input you want to print. This is for just to show any output. Okay. So this is whenever you are going to connect with input field. So two different things are there. Both can be used to display the value on the page. But output label is associated with input fields. Output text just to going to display the value as like printing. If you want to connect any external style sheet, we can connect through the output style. And the next thing is message and messages. You want to give error message for every individual component. We can just use this one message. At last of the application altogether, you want to put all the error messages or whatever happened. We can use messages. In order to add the graphics, nothing but you want to add a picture, images. So we can use to the graphics image. So these are all the output component. The next thing is we have button and link related components. Again, I have a significant control here. So we have a command button component, we have command link. So both of them are going to do the same work, but the first one is look like a button, second one look as like a link. Both will do the same thing. So what is the same thing? It is going to connect the another page, both side possible. Able to submit the form value. To submit the form value, by practice we use a button. Okay, you can use a button or you can also use a link. Is possible. But in general, we use a button for submitting the value. But if you plan to use a link, it will also work. Both will work in the same. That means we can say in common action-based controls. If you want to, once you are pressed the link or the button, you want to do some actions, yes, we can use these two, one of them or both of them in the necessary area. There's one more what you call component is there, it's called output link. So if you want to link to another page, okay, link to another page, we can able to connect, but it is without any action event. No action event can be called here. But through the link only is possible. No action event can be written over there or called over there. That's the difference. Now, sometime you need to get the select base, choice base. Multiple items are there. From that, I want to fetch the inputs. For that, there are component available here. You see here list box. Okay, so we have a list box selecting many items. In the same time, I want to select more than one item. Means you can use select many list box. That means it allows you to select multiple items from the list, from the provided. No, among the list, I want to allow them to select only one item. Now we can use select one list. That means you have list of items, but from this only one item is allowed. And similarly, we have menu. Okay, this is list. This is menu here. Okay, menu is also prepared in the same. So from the list of item, list of menu, I can say many of the menus are allowed to select. Many items are allowed to select here. But the second one allowed to select you one item only. Okay. So for the next one, check boxes. Usually we have check boxes with many items. All the item can be selected or all of them not selected. So so that's only one thing. And another one is here, checkbox with the Boolean. Select Boolean checkbox. Okay. Only one item is prepared. Especially read the condition, agree with this point. So somewhere when you are filling the forms and all, finally, do you agree? Do you want to remember the password? So that means only one checkbox required in the application. At that time, we can use this control, select Boolean checkbox. That means only one checkbox is there. If they are agreed, selected, and the form will be proceeded. Okay, as like password remember, maybe there is one checkbox. You want to remember the password? Yes, I select it. You want to agree with these terms and conditions? Yes, you can select it or not select it. Something like that. If you want to have only one choice, so select Boolean checkbox. So this is normal, like many checkboxes will be there from among the items. You can select one or more. And here is the radio. So select one radio. That means you can prepare many radio groups. Among them, one is allowed to select. So it is one radio allowed to select as like other applications. So other side we have panel user interface components. So in that we have panel grid. So this panel grid will help you to arrange your components as like a table. Okay. So when you are going to keep all your controls maybe going in a zigzag way, that gives what you call some pressures to make them in a neat way. So need not to worry about it. You can use a panel group, and we put all our child components inside here. Based on the table grid that you want, I will make 2 columns. So simply it will prepare 1 column for label, another column for what you call the input controls. So within a simple step, it will arrange in a easiest way. So for that we have a panel grid. Other side we have a panel group. So panel group means it is going to group the components. I have some set of control or components specifically to do some specific particular job. So we can make them group. This is a person profile. This is person qualification. This is a what you call credentials. So we can make them in a different group. So the next thing is data table UI. Okay, data table nothing but as like table, but it is going to wrap around your database records or your own record that you are entered. So data table is like HTML table. The data can be easily loaded in that. For example, when you look into the old practice, we should read the what you call our record from the database, keep our cursor from the starting point, and read one by one using looping, and load our data in the table. That is consuming time, and the code is huge. But here we are going to use expression language object here just to connect with the table. What is your object? That means the code logic is written somewhere. Just connect here in the code. Then automatically based on the number of records, the table is enhanced, or based on the number of records, all the records are easily loaded. And in this we also have a column. So how many number of column you are having, we can make it. And inside the item we have facet. We will see it in the coding, I will show you. So all the columns are also can be added here. Okay, so this is all about the designing. So designing, we are going to use all these things. So next thing is design, that is view is over. View, that is our model view controller. View is over, that is nothing but designing application. So for many perspective of design, we already discussed. So next point is the controller, nothing but the logic, where I am going to put my logic. So the logic in the previous version in the J2 EE called what do you call managed bean, and in the Jakarta 9 they changed the name. CDI was already also there, but they removed managed bean. Okay, managed bean is removed. In the name of the CDI they brought here. CDI has its own history. It's not new actually. Okay, CDI is adapted here, I can say. So context dependency injection is called CDI. What is the purpose of this? Why we are going for this dependency injection or the CDI? It's mainly to reduce the programmatic configurations. So many configuration we are making in the XML files. At least like the IDE, NetBeans, Eclipse or IntelliJ try to minimize all this configuration. I could remember that past 2 decades before. So to run one application itself, we have to create many folders, keep those files in the such a folder, and we had so much of difficulty inside. And later this all IDE helped us to put our configuration in a wizard based. That is solved it. And now they don't want to go with all configurations. They want to put it in the annotations. The program code itself, you use some annotations, then it is configured properly or automatically. So we can say mainly used for programmatic annotations. Okay. So what are the common features we are going to annotate? So we can use to annotate components, for validations, event handlings, processing any data, navigations, and several more, even to connect any data, show your data for all purposes. So mainly it can be fall with using your object to access through the expression language. Okay, I want to take my data, whatever I have my logic, I will write here. This logic must be connected to my view, that is my facelets. Okay, how I am going to do it? It is called named annotation. So it's called it's a replacement for managed bean. So we can say it's like a managed bean. Previously we used to say as a managed bean. Now we used to say named annotation. Managed bean is also an annotation. So using this name, we are going to give what is our object name that you want to call. Same thing we did it in managed bean. So same thing, we are going to say what is your object. So this object will be called in the your view through the expression language. It will facilitate you to access all your attribute or method to call there. So it's also this annotation is also I mean the CDA is also included, as you know, POJO. Okay, that means we can write all our getter setter method for all our component fields. Okay, so all these component fields can interact with the logics. So logic and the view is going to be connected in an easy way. So that's why using object from the expression language is one of the significant use, I can say, that can be accomplished by the annotation. So the present annotation that is called named. Other side, we have dependency injection. So we can say this one as this using object can be a context. So we can also divide this. This is context dependency injection. So context mean how it is contacting with the view. The logic is contacting with view. In that perspective, named is there. Another side, dependency injection. What is the dependency injection? So the object is required for many other classes. Okay, I have one class with some particular fields or data. This I want to access it in another class. How we are going to deal with them? Okay, so that is what going to be decided by dependency injection. Injection, that means we are pushing something in this data over. Okay, inject. So what is the injection that we are giving? So data in various classes, how going to be accessed can be identified here and planned here in the dependency injection. So some of the scopes are there in the contextual perspectives. What is the way where we are going to use the CDI bean? Some of them I put it over here: application level, session level, view level, request level, and apart from this, in the recent one we have at dependency, conversational scope, and many more. Okay, so let's focus on these few. This because more significant one. Application level mean all the users of the application. So people may be accessing from different part of the world in the same application. If you want to give a particular data to all the users around the applications, that data can be, that object class can be declared with application scope. Session we know it. This is very common. Multiple HTTP requests can be managed. So and the browser level. So you are opened one browser. In that you may have several tabs. From one tab you have one data mean that will also reflect to the other tab. So session level. View is only having a single page. The data can have only within the page. The data never goes out of the page. So only to see in one particular page is view scope. Another side we have request scope. It's for to handle with a single request. So that's moreover session scope and request scope are going to be used many times. If you want to deal the data which are common, we can say session scope, or only within a single request you want to use, we can use it in the request scope. So with this, I will just go and show you some few things. Later, I will begin here the validation and conversions. Okay. So almost I have shown all these things related to MVC. I will show the things how application look like, what to do. All these things I will show here. Okay. I already planned an application here in order to demonstrate. Okay. So some difficulties are there because they are under the development. I'll show you how to prepare this. I have already opened NetBeans. So I have recently downloaded 12.6 and I'm using here with the platform 11, JDK 11 here. It's up to you which platform that you are. So you have to see the what do you call related JDK. Okay, whichever that is supportable, we have to take. So I have taken here 11. So when you are going to create a new application as like previous, so we have main things. So we should understand about this one: Maven, Gradle, Ant. So three different type of web application can be prepared. Okay. So majorly Eclipse focused on Maven projects, and we can also prepare Gradle, Ant. You should understand about what is Maven, Gradle, Ant. So nothing but the code project what we have is compiled and prepared, and the what do you call deployment process. The deployment process takes with a different way. The easiest way is Ant. Okay, so I follow the easiest one, and also the easiest basic beginner tool is NetBeans. Okay, so Ant I am using here. With you can choose web application. So we can go here to say next, and we can select our. These are all very frequently used for all the application. We are going to use like this. Just I can say for example test. Okay, so I'm going to save my application in the desktop. So we have servers. Which server that you are going to say? I already said we have different servers. I have downloaded Glassfish server and I'm using it. Okay, you can also find here the enterprise edition library. Okay, you see still the version is showing with the NetBeans Java EE. It is already modified. They have to change it. Some of the few things are there like that. Okay, they must modify because this IDE can also be used for other libraries. So they still keep it like it. Okay, and you can find the library here. Okay, so EE web is here, and we can say next. And another one based on the server that you use. Okay, if the server is updated and it is going to show the latest one. The server is old one and it will show the older version. Means that server is not updated. We can understand. Some I tried some other Wildfly, Pyra, other servers. So they are all different things are there. Okay, so I felt it's more comfortable and it's keep up to date. So you can follow it. And another side, when you say come to this, the framework, you see Spring MVC, Struct, and the Java Server Faces. Actually, it was changed. We know it, but the NetBeans again, they have to change it because still some may be using the older version, so they are not focused here. Okay. Anyhow, we can understand that this is Jakarta. Okay, so we have to select it. Once you select, you will see here the version 3.0 will come here. Okay, so because we are using J2EE 9, and I'm going to say okay to finish the application, to create the application. Okay, so I have prepared here the application. Now we just look into the components, what is prepared here. Okay, so let's focus here to see what are presents. Okay, so in this you can see here there are folder prepared. There are folder. Okay, so you can see here there is a web page index.xhtml. This is nothing but the view. Source package. Here is the area we are going to put our logics. Okay. There is a web.html, XML. This is the model which will connect. Okay. This is the model which will connect. Some issue are there. Still, here also some issue are there, because you see here, we prepared Jakarta 3.0 version, but still the code what is developed here is old one, Java X Faces Face Servlet. This is old code only. We have to replace it, because in order to work with the latest one, we should replace it. Okay. So this is the one which connects model. The other side, we have a view here. We will create a logic here. This is one side. Another side, I use the portable lightweight database here, JavaDB. We can use any database that you wish. And I have Glassfish server here. You can see all the applications that are whatever the deployed one can found here. Okay. And what is special here is, I already created one application. No? You can see here the test libraries. Okay. So this is they prepared as a container. Okay. This is a containerization. So now you should understand about Glassfish is prepared a container for our application. If our work is successfully running here, then this container can be transferred, our program code can be easily transferred to the cloud. Our main aim is creating a cloud native Java applications. So the servers and all now prepared under the containerization concept. So the containers take care of, okay, take care of our code. So as like the previous one only, but the containerization is introduced here as new. Okay, this is for your understanding. Okay, so this is one point. So what I did is I prepared application. Okay, already I will show you here. Okay, so that we can understand in a better way. So I prepared all these things. Okay, I have index page here. Okay, which connected all the pages. Okay, so let me start from here. Okay, so I'm going to start the work. So either you can right click over this and all you know about. You can start running here. Okay, if you want to deploy your application, it's already I deployed. When you start running on, it automatically deploys. Okay, so if you start here, right click, you can run, or you can start from the run. You can run your application here, or by using the shortcut menu, you can start running your application. Okay, so once it is started, so this will begin the application. Okay, I just had all together for our understanding side by side, so we can see and learn in a faster way. Okay, so let me see the first one, the inputs. Okay, so we can write our code here. So we have here our code. This is XHTML file. You can see this is the XHTML file. XHTML file, nothing but a view we already know about. So it will have a header. Okay, it will have a header which is prepared with XML file. X mean extensible, nothing but XML. Okay, and we have body here which will carry all our tags. Okay, all our view. So we should start with our parent, that is view, and view will have all our tag inside. For example, I put all my tag here. Input, secret, text area file, all like input controls. So you can start like this. So let me start, for example, H colon. So you see, you can find it is automatically pop up all the H related tag library. These are all the Facelet tag libraries. Okay, let me go for F. Okay, you see, F tags. You go for C, CC component. You go for UI. You see, all the components are easily pop up here. So it's very easy to work with this application. Okay, for example, let me go to H input text. Okay, can excuse me. You can go with input text. Okay, you can select, and once you put the tab, it will also show all the attributes, whatever the attribute that is allowed in this tag. You can also see all, and also the meaning is also pop up over here. What is the use of this? What is the use of this? You see, all the attributes are here. We are going to use the attribute, and we will give the value. Okay, so anyone can easily learn. Okay, and also if you want to add any HTML code inside, HTML tag library inside, it is also allowed to mix. You can also use HTML tag inside, cascading style sheet inside. All the perspective, it will enhance your application. Let me first of all see here the first one, input tags. Okay, I just have input tag to give input, one line, the secret field. I have the multi-line text area. You can able to browse and connect the file. Okay, this is the code I have. Okay, so we can connect and load. So I have input. So for example, I have value. So this value, how it is going to connect mean, we have to connect through the logic. I'm not connected anything because I just only had a viewpoints. Okay, so we can add like that. So these are all the input I discussed already. So if you want to enhance your style, you can put style. You can add style. Style is there. Anything you want to do. Color, red. So red color text will be appearing over. For example, I'm saying red. I updated my code. Okay. Once I am saving it, automatically after saving the file, it is also deployed. This is the fastest way. Okay. Nothing. I'm not able to what do you call? I need not to. I'm sorry. I need not to run again. So immediately, if you go and refresh, it will be there. Okay. If you're going to type it, you'll find the red color. See, immediately it is there. We are not rerun the program. Just we refresh the browser. So whatever the changes, it is immediately appearing. This is a advantage here. Faster in compiling and deploying the application. Okay. So now let us see the same way the second one, so that we can go in a better way. So the output tags. So what are the, excuse me, output tags? Yeah. So output tags mean we have a label and we have output, right? So I included for our input controls, and also I put the picture over here. So let me open and show you output. Okay. So I have here the output text. Okay, output label. Okay, so output label, importantly I said it is associated with the input. Okay, how it is associated now, let's see. Okay, output label we started. Okay, it is started here and it is ended here. And for your information, another one thing, the tag can be ended at the end here. Any tag can be ended as like HTML features. Okay, any tag can be ended at the end of the tag, or we can also write them end tag. Okay, for example, look into this. I have a username, I have password, something like that. You see, the tag is open for output here. The tag is finished here. Now, how it is associated? We have an attribute for. For example, the input text is named with a TP. Okay, this is an ID for this input text. Okay, we have a for attribute that connects or associate the internal components. Okay, for I say whatever the ID is for this is the label. So whatever I say enter a name, you can see enter name. The enter name is a label, okay, associated with the text box. Okay, the enter name associated with the text box here. Okay, so like that we can prepare the label for one another. Okay, so you can have a glance of view. Already the code is available. You can also understand and go through in a fast way. Okay. Next thing is all button base. Okay, so button. So in the button side we have button link, command button, right? Command button and command link. Okay, so either you can use the button or command. It can be used for doing any action or connecting any page. As like hyperlink, it will work, as well as It can also focus on doing any action, clicking button, something to fire events. Event based also can work. Okay, so I have a command button here, command link and output link. Output link only will give connection. Connect with another page. Okay, I'm connecting to the home page, for example, here. For this, you can submit your value. Form submission can also possible, or firing any event. You can also do any action events. Even also possible. Also, doing actions. That is what action also called through the pages or the. But one thing here, without the extensions, .xhtml is not required here. Okay, so without extension of the file, you can mention only the name of the file, so it will understand. That's only thing. Okay, so here are the pages. You see, it is went back to the home. Okay, I'll go back. I'll click back here, home. This is link based. Okay, it's connected. I go back. Yeah, it's working well. Yeah. So the next thing is, I would like to show you what is the next design? Output style sheet. Okay, style sheet. You see here the letters, green color changed. Okay, here it is red color, and we have pictures. Okay, so I can go here. What is that file? Sorry, output style. Okay, so output style is, you see here. The output style, the tag is going to be included in the head tag. Okay, output style tag is going to be included in the head tag, and we should write a library. Okay, library nothing but in the folder. We should create a folder. Okay, in the folder we are going to keep the file, right? So whatever the resource folder that you are having here, okay, in that we have a CSS. This is my library. All your CSS can be added here. We have all images. Can put all your images here. Okay, so all these can be accessed through the library. Okay, if you are going to say library, I'm referring the CSS folder. And what is the name of the file? Then it is connected. This is a way to connect the file. So the same way I could also show the output one for the graphics, the image. You see here the library for the image. Okay, library we are going to say as image, and we can load the picture here. Okay, this is the picture that we put it in the images. So images is the library. So you can keep all your picture over here, and then it is easy to connect here. Okay, so now the output style. So we can open and see. I just had a few things. So I have some classes here. Class li link. These are I prepared as a class. Either you can do through the ID or through the class, as like HTML CSS connection. Okay. Similarly, I prepared here the class that connected with the cascading. You see, I have class I, class L, class L, class I. Okay. I have different font size, color. Okay, so let us look here in this. Where is that? In this, when it is, excuse me. One minute, something went. Maybe it's opened already or? Already open. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, so you can see here we have different things. I have given green color for all labeling, and for the text, whatever that you enter, I gave different color. So it reflects. So you can incorporate the style sheet, okay, in a easy way. So you can declare either by classes. Okay, if you write as a class, you can call them in the class, or you can use through the ID. As like this practice we have in HTML. Okay, similar practice we can have here. Also, if you need the style here, you can also write inline styles. So definitely our application can be enhanced like anything. Okay, for example, I want this component in the middle. Okay, I want this one in the middle, for example. We know the tag that is available in the HTML. I put center. Okay, center is HTML tag, right? So this center I will take in the beginning of the form, and I will put them after the end of the form. Okay, so this is HTML tag that I am incorporating now. Okay, I'll just now go and refresh it. You see, now it is coming in middle. So what is happening? HTML is also can use if you want to have JavaScript. Yes, you can also use JavaScript if you want to give when you are going to press the button or somewhere. If you want to call the JavaScript, yes, that's also possible. So it's very much very interesting. Okay. So next thing is select input. So we have a list here as like whatever that we discussed in the slide. This is for multiple more item. You can select more than one item. Okay. So by using the control, we can able to select more item. This is for only one item. Even if you use control, you cannot able to select more than one item. And this is for more than one item in the menu. You see here inside there are menu. You can use up and down. Okay. This size also possible to change. If you want to change the size, that is also possible. So the appearance is something new. Okay, this for one or more. This is one idea. This another one has like a drop down. This is also another one. Okay, you can also use drop down like that's it's for only one item. Okay, you can able to select. This is as like other programming model, but this is something new here. Okay, and this is also another what do you call check boxes. It's like other one only. That is you can able to select one or more, whichever that you have an option. And this is for single boolean checkbox. Whenever you want to agree with the terms, conditions, remembering points or passwords, okay, at that time we can use this is boolean checkbox. If it is yes, then the condition is accepted. And here is the radio button. Okay, so all these codes what we have seen here in the slide is I incorporated. Where is that? The input. What was the name? Let me see here. So yeah, so many files are there. I used to call the names. Okay, this is a select input. Okay, yeah. So I put the same thing, but only I changed all the thing. What do you call facelet tags here? And in order to add your what do you call item inside, we should use f tag. Okay. So what are the items that you need inside? Those can be accomplished by f tag. There is a tag called select item. Okay. What is the item value? What is the item name? These two are important. Without that, the item value will not be shown over there. Okay. The value that is going to be used in the logic time. The label that is going to appear on the screen. So label is always whatever that you put here, it will appear on the view. And when you select it in the programming side, whenever you call, the value will go. If you select item 1, whatever that you give, I gave 1 will go to the program. Okay, for logic purposes, coding purposes. So from this we can select a many. So because I had a many list box, same way we have many from the many item we can select 1, and we have menu, many menu. That's like small one. This is many menu. So we can click over there, up and down to select. Can also click here, select, and down. Select the second one. So down, up. Use the control and select over there like that. Okay. And the next thing is you can see here one menu. This for one menu. The right side. What is there? Here this one. From the list item, we can select one. On the other side, we have many checkboxes. Okay, so many checkboxes. Item 1, 2, 3, 4. I put. So from this list, the users are allowed to select one or more. And here, so important thing what you are come to use is very common point. If you know about this select item, general thing, item value, item label. So it can be used in all the select area. Is one item, one list, one menu, many menu, everywhere the same control, even in the radio. Okay, So everywhere it is a common tag to add the item. Okay, select a boolean. This is only for remember me purpose or any agreement purposes, you know. So one checkbox will be there. This is for radio. Okay, how we are going to take the value? All we can connect through the expression language. I'll come to this point later. Okay. So before that, I will just show you. Oh, time is approaching. I'm sorry. Can you extend the time another 20 minutes only there?
It's okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yeah. I took more time. Yeah. So next thing is panel. Okay. Panel grid. You see here it is arranged in the row and column. Okay. So you can see the panel grid here. We are going to say panel grid, how many number of column that you want. Okay, how many number of column, and every control is considered as first column, second column, like that. Whatever that you put as first one, it will fall on the first column. The second one will fall on the second column. So in such a way, we can arrange our control, means the panel grid will arrange according to that. I gave 2 column, means you see here it is arranged well. For example, I will see the output, this one, output one. You see it's here in a zigzag way. Okay, so if you put them, the same thing I put it there over. Okay, if you put them together, okay, it is arranged well, all in what do you call column. One column is a label, another column is the input control, like that. Okay, another thing is the next one, CDI. Okay, so something now we are going to do the logic. Okay, so logic I'm going to do. So for that I have a logic here. Okay, so we have to write a logic. Okay, we can write over here logic. So it's nothing but a Java program. Okay, so I'm having a logic over here. Okay, it's a Java program. What you have to do is for the Java program, we are going to use some variables. Okay, whatever the input that you are going to get in the form, all we are going to declare here, and for that we will generate the getter method, setter method, nothing but POJO, plain Java old object. Okay, for example, I'll delete this one. How to generate all getter setter method. Okay, in previous to this, preparing a getter setter method, you just type all your variable here. Okay, after that, just right click over here and insert code, and you can select here getter setter and select all your variable, say generate, and it is very simple. It will generate the code. Now the POJO is ready. And next is we should add a context, that is named context. Now, okay, if you want to access this user class with this different name, okay, the different name mean we have to mention in bracket here whatever the name that you want here. Okay, if you want to access with the class name, but first letter should be smaller. Okay, so where I connected this one is, so this one I connect input managed. Okay, so I connected here input managed. You see here, this is expression hash. I started user, small u, okay, and then username. What is the username? Nothing but it is declared here in the managed bean or in the CDI. Okay, it is in the CDI. We are connecting there. Okay, so if you want to have different name, not as a small letter as starting with class name, if you want to have a different name, that should be given in the named here in the bracket, should be put it in the double quote. For example, object OPJ means you should start here with OPJ, only then it can be called OPJ. You have to say like that. Okay, so I'm used the same name. I'm used the same name that is going to call. Okay, so whenever input is given in the view, that will come to this injection. How it is taking? I use the request scope here. I use request scope here. So request scope must be imported. Okay, let us see and execute it. So I have, for example, here the ID, the name, something you can give, the phone number, something you can give. Okay, so this value after I enter, I'm expecting here to show. Okay, I'm going to submit. So the submitted value is appear over here. So how it is transferred from your input control? The value are connected with expression language EL through this, and in my code I used to show the same value. Initially there was no. But after I submit the button, the value is loaded. Okay, now if I am going to close it, okay, this one request is closed. For example, if I am going for multiple time, okay, so the request model we have to change. Okay, the request model what we have to change. If you had only one request request scope domain, it will be there only. If you close that, the data will not be there. So that you have to understand. Okay, so this is one perspective. Okay, so another side, data table. Okay, so whatever that you entered, okay, we can also ask them to present in the data table. Okay, so immediately on the page itself. So this will be also useful for the database. Okay, so in the database, if you want to retrieve anything, you can also use them to display. Okay, so data table will have a list of value, and with the list of column. Every column is connected with different attribute. That means the expression language allowed you to connect here. Okay, for example, what I did, whenever I add my item here, I will automatically ask to show it in the table. Like that I planned here. For example, I'm going to give some name over here. Okay, just give me give here some item. Okay, so some number over here. So automatically the data is added. So it's as like a HTML table, but with simplified technique. It's called a data table. Okay, so this will be if we are going to connect the table data with the database. So I also have that one. So you can what you call minimize all this coding. Okay. So next thing is the converters. Okay. So we have different converters. We have here. Okay. That's our thing, no? Converter and validator. So to convert any value in any programming languages, we had different methods. It will take more time also. Those and all are minimized here. Okay, so we have package for converting all our data. So we can use the tag. Okay, f tag converter is there. So either by ID you can call. Okay, so there is an ID. In ID we are going to say the package name with the literal constants. Okay, or we can use the type. You want to take percentage, you want to use different types, all these types you can give. For currency, we have what type of symbol you want to use. Okay, if you say type as currency, only then we can use this one. You want to use any number pattern. You want to use any fractions, number of fractions in the digit. You want to use pattern of a date. All this can be settled down with this tags. Okay, tags itself it is finished now. Okay, you want to give a number. Okay, I give only integer number here, but it will automatically take 0.0. Okay, so if you are giving integer number, you want to give percentage, you want to give some dollar value. So when you're going to access them through the what do you call program, I give 4 values, but after I click the button, 3 value only taken. Okay, fractions, minimum fractions. I give many fractions, only it will take 2 fractions. You can give any date. Okay. So once you submit, automatically the value, you see 0.0 is added here, only 3 points taken here. So like that. So it can be controlled over the program. When you take this value, easily it can be converted. Okay. So for this we have converter. And similarly, we have validator. Okay. To validate any data that you entered in the application, we have what do you call separate code, either written by scripting or by server side script, client side scripting or by server side scripting. It was too long. So all this what do you call minimize, and it can be solved mostly here in the tag itself. For example, you want to control the length of any data. Okay, minimum maximum you can say. So that's the length. Okay, if it is a required field, by the tag itself there is a required as an attribute, you can say required is true. That's one idea. Another side we have tag here. Okay, this tag is also a part of any input. If you want to get a mandatory field, you can use this one. Okay, and you want to get a long, okay, long data, so you can also use what is the minimum, maximum, the ranges. Okay, minimum, maximum. You want to pass any regular expression for email pattern or phone number pattern. All this can be done. You want to validate any beans, that is also possible. So these are all also a part of any input. Okay. So for that I have one example here. I'll show you. So validator. So when you are going to have a validation, so I'm just typing something here. Okay, I'm typing something here. I'm going to click this one. Okay, so it will say some error. Okay, something I entered here, age between 1 to 100 I gave. Okay, but the age what I entered here should be more than that. Okay, I will give some 22 for example. Salary format should be start from 1.0. So you can 1.0 nobody work, but for example I did. Okay, some salary here we have to give password length whatever that you want. So email it should be pattern based. Okay, a@b.com. Okay, phone number. So what is that? The length I gave here 10. Okay, based on the Indian model I gave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so it will be accepting the value. So you can see the code here, what I have. So validate, this is validator. So how you are going to use the validator mean, the input must not be completed at the end here. Okay. So the tag, end tag must be put over there, and for every input tag inside, we should use the validator. Okay, validator tag we are going to put inside, and what is the validation required? So everywhere, wherever I put here required, so it is a required field. And also if you want to give a message, what is the message? What is the validator message? What is the required message? What is the required message? You see? Also you can also, this is another idea, required is true. You can either use this one, also use the F tag required. This is also possible. So for email, for example, I put the pattern, regular expression. So all the things can be controlled in a easy way. Okay, all the things are controlled in a easy way. Finally, I just display the value. If you want to show the messages, for example, I come here, messages. If you want to show the errors, okay, you want to give some message to the user. So two perspective of messages can be there. One is message, the other one is messages. What does that mean? You can, if you want to give error message for every individual component, I want to give for input text. Text 1 is an ID. For this, if you want to, if anything happens, anything goes wrong in this text, you want to give a message. You have to say message for whatever the attribute that is having. So it is respective to that input is going to show the error. That's one idea, one way of giving message. Another is a common message for overall application. Okay, that is messages is plural here. Okay, so I have ID with some ID, ID with some ID, many things are there. Finally, you need not to say any ID here. Finally, just we can add these messages and it will bring all the error together. This is what I made in my application. In my application, when I click, you could have observed all the errors were showing in the down. You see, messages, I put the message at the end. So all the errors were showing at the end. Okay, so this is all about validations. So next thing is Ajax. Okay, Ajax is also a part of any application requirement today. So we can see Ajax as well as event handling. So event handling mean button when you're clicking the button, that is action based. Okay, when you are choosing a component. Okay, when you are choosing a component, changing an item. Okay, changing an item. All this perspective we need a event handling. So what is the event handling? What is the Ajax? So event handling, especially we have three type of events. So action listener, value change, and application related. That means it is related to lifecycle. So the action listener and value changed moreover we use, because button press action, and whenever we change the value, that is expected to accept. For that we have a method. We are going to write this method in the CDI, and we will call this class inside an attribute, I mean in the parameter, and we can able to do something inside. Okay, so whatever the work we are doing, this will be done. and in the view we are going to call this using the expression. Okay, so this method will be called over there. Okay, so this is for action based, and we are doing something here. Okay, so let me show here event handling. Okay, for example, this is I clicked here, I change the value immediately. I clicked, I change the value. You see, so this is value change. When I click the button, this is action based. Okay, action based. So when you click, the data is appear. This is action based. So event can be performed. Okay, the other side we can use Ajax. So it's one of the important technology today. It's also used in all the platforms and applications. Also used in the Jakarta and as well as Java Server Faces. So what you are going to do here is it is going to use a JavaScript over the XML, and it is going to synchronize without reloading the page. Mainly without reloading the page, the data will appear in the page. So part of application is going to load the application without disturbing our page. For that reason, we are come here. So if you how you are going to use the what you call Ajax? For that we have a tag. Okay, F tag. So in that we have two main attributes, that is execute and render. Okay, what you are going to execute? I want to execute for the ID of the input, and what you are going to render? I am going to render it in the message. For example, message is another side. Okay, you are taking the value from some component and showing it in the some other component. That means you are doing some asynchronous process at side, but without reloading the page. Okay, so for that reason. Okay, so without loading it, how you are going to perform? Okay, so I have an input. When I going to use this one, this input going to be used in the execution purpose, and the value will be obtained over there. And where you are going to render mean, I will render the value in some other area. Okay, so without disturbing the application, that will work. Okay, this is I put without execution. This program, what do you call? Excuse me. Excuse me. This is without button I made. Okay, this is without button. Here it is. I put the command button. Okay, I put command button to work. This without button I put. Okay, without button also we can do. Okay, in the text box when you enter, I put. Okay, let's see the demonstration. So Ajax. So for example, this is what this normal program. For example, I'm going to type something. When you're going to click over there, you can understand that the browser will refresh. You see, the browser is getting refreshed. Yeah, can you feel this? Okay. Now, for example, I'm going to use some other data in the another button. This here I use the Ajax. Okay, I'm going to click over here. Only this part of application going to be changed here. Okay, you see only this part asynchronous job. Okay, but the rest of the data with the same is not modified. Okay, this is by using the button. I did some Ajax process. The data I just took and then I reflected in the part of application. Okay. Same thing without button also, whenever you type, you can also do something. You see, I am typing, it's immediately synchronizing. So very clearly you can understand about what is Ajax. Whenever type, immediately it is reflecting. So this part of application is disturbed. Okay. So you want to modify do the asynchronous process, you can use Ajax. Okay, in our application. So if you want, you can also see the code here. Ajax. Okay. So I put the same code what I shown in the slide. What I shown in the slide is connected here. Okay. So further you can also have a glance of it. Okay. Same thing. I put it inside the button, and this is without button. So you can understand about this one. Also I put separately as like normal. No Ajax is there. So you will find this will be refreshing it. The browser will be getting refreshed. Okay. So the next thing is we almost come to the last part of our session. So the database connectivity is without database there is no business today. You know. Okay. So database as like other platforms, technologies, we can able to use here. JDBC is one of the most significant technology that is available in Java, that is connected again with the Jakarta. Okay, So you can use it. You can use JDO, Java Persistence, as well as Hibernate. So today, what I'm going to do, just I will show you a simple JDBC connection, okay? Because the persistence Hibernate will take long time. I have also video I connected already. I will give a glance for your further learning. That will also be very much helpful to you. Okay. So as like previous, you have an experience of connecting your database, right? In Java program, same thing. You can use the class and you can connect your database driver. I used here Java DB. So I used to have this driver, thereby driver, and you can open the database connection here. What is the username? What is the password? What is the URL? So you can change this one, and to create your record, you can prepare your statement, and you can set your value, and finally you can go for execute your what do you call SQL statement. And in the SQL statement, whatever that is given here, the values we are going to obtain through the what do you call yeah, CDI. Okay, so CDI is setting the value. So whatever the value set here, that is going to be assigned here the value, and it is going to be insert the value. So in order to delete, only thing is similar as like previous. So very much this is very common practice we are having for any CRUD application. Okay, so using the queries, but here is it is very much important. No SQL injection attack will be there. Okay, because we are used with prepared statements. So SQL injection can be avoided over there. Okay, so it's also easy to work with as like previous programs. Okay, so this is for editing or selecting any record. So you can use a select query, and we can also put them in the component through the setter. If you set the value will be reflected over the page. To update the value again, we are going to change your query. Okay, and you can update the value through the CDI. Okay, so let me just give a glance of demonstration here. So this is just prepared for entering the value. I'm already having some data over there, but something is not connected, I think. Okay, let me see. Okay, I have here something I can prepare 500 something. Okay, so some names I enter. Okay, some value I enter here. So I'm going to insert the value. Okay, I'm not fully completed here. You can also give a message over there. Whether it is inserted or not, that should be added with some other control. Okay, I did not do it, but I added here with this, and we can go and see the list whether it is added or not. And also we can check this some code error is there because I was just on the way to do it. Okay, so we can also check this part whether it is inserted in the database. Okay, so we can I just connected here this database. We can check here whether it is connected and added the records. Yeah, let me see. Yeah, this is arrived here. Okay, so what we inserted is arrived. Okay, so this is what I inserted. So it's working fine. Okay, so it's very simple. You have a background knowledge. One thing what you come to know is the facelet. Okay, the facelet that is used in Jakarta. Okay, so facelet is not actually new because of the J2EE transfer to Jakarta. All the Java technologies hand over to Eclipse Foundation. Okay, so what we have seen today is we have seen fundamental what do you call things how to work with Jakarta Server Faces. Mainly, I gave some idea what is the framework behind Jakarta EE and what is going in around in the Jakarta EE and Jakarta Faces technology. What is it? And we have seen some controls, components, converters, validator related, and I have also shown this how to connect with the database. Okay, so I strongly believe that this really this session really may help you to your professional and personal growth. Okay, and I would like to thank all of you for your participation in this session. And for all references, you can find I gave here the tutorial what I found here in the Jakarta technology. I connected here. You can download the Jakarta EE library here, and you can download NetBeans if you want to use Eclipse or IntelliJ. That's up to you. Okay. So I'm really thank you for your cooperation, understandings, and give me extra 5 minutes also. Thanks once again for the department, staff professional development committee and members for your well arrangements. Thank you very much for your participation. If you have any questions, we can go for clarifications. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir. Participant, if you have any queries, you can ask now. I think there is no queries from participant. So the resources you can find a given link from Dr. Bala, which is available in the chat box. So coding part and the presentation, everything is available. Please go through it whenever if you are required.
Yeah. Also, I give here my YouTube channel, but this is I work for the previous version, but it's almost the same. It's almost the same. So it really is going to be helpful to you. All these things from the top to bottom, you can see here. This also there. Okay, but it is used with the previous version. If you know the previous version, the same thing we can also adapt with the Jakarta. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much sharing your resources. Okay, so now come to the end part. On behalf of Staff Support Service Committee, I would like to thank resource person Dr. Bala sharing his knowledge and skills about web application or development using Jakarta using Jakarta Server Faces. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much once again. And also,
Thank
I
you,
would
sir.
like to thank overall participant today's staff support service SPD program. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Sir, may I end up?